Now, in news just in, face masks and sanitizers may soon be a thing of the past. CoGTA Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma is expected to adjust restrictions as the country makes progress in the battle against the COVID-19 pandemic. Deputy President David Mabuza is engaging with the National House of Traditional Leaders and a delegation of the Khoisan leaders. eNCA's reporter Govan Whittles is following the story for us. Let's cross over to him for the latest. So, Govan, masks could be a thing of the past much sooner than we think.
Well, at least outdoors. These are only suggestions from the National Coronavirus Command Council, and the suggestions are currently being canvassed with the traditional leadership that's here at this all-important meeting. And this is the opening of the the National House of Traditional Leadership. Some of the other suggestions include keeping social distancing at 1 meter, and they said that they would also be increasing the number of people allowed at events, particularly for those that are vaccinated. But in the case of people that are unvaccinated, they're likely to keep the limitations as they were. But this meeting is also focused on a number of issues which are crucial to traditional leaders nationally and in the province. Among them also obviously the issue of initiation, but let's just briefly touch on some of these. Joining me is the Deputy Chairperson for the National House of Traditional Leaders, Mr. Thabo Siotlola. Thank you so much. Sorry, that's Khosi Thabo Siotlola. Thank you so much for your time, Khosi. So let's just start with the issue of communal property associations. It's been raised sharply here, and essentially it entails the community having management over the land, but you're saying that this works against the system of traditional leadership because traditional leaders are often excluded from such arrangements. What do you want to happen with CPAs?
Yeah, no, thank you. You know, the previous Minister Nkosazana had a more proper system to manage all that, because in the wagon wheel model, he proposed that the royal family should be there, the traditional council and the community. But as it is now, it's only a section of the community without anyone else, and they control everything. So there's two centers of power now. That's where the problem is.
And there's been some disagreement because sometimes communities and traditional leaders don't agree on how the land should be managed. And what is your response to criticism that including traditional leaders in the CPA by force would then undermine the rights of communities to govern themselves?
Traditional communities have always governed together with the traditional leaders. They are not a separate entity from the traditional system. So if the traditional community wants to govern itself outside the traditional laws, then it's something completely different. It's no longer a traditional community. It's an independent community.
Lastly, there was some information from the Justice Minister which said that even if there's no opt-out clause in the Traditional Courts Bill, their legal advice shows that it would still be constitutional. This seems to suggest we're heading back to traditional courts being properly established. What do you think of that legal opinion and what it means for the future of traditional courts in South Africa?
You know, if the opt-out clause is taken out of the whole bill, then the whole bill is pointless. If you are not happy with how the traditional leader has managed your case, you always have an opportunity to appeal to the Magistrates Court and the High Court and so forth. So you have to be tried where you are. Otherwise, people will come into our area, do crimes, steal cattle and everything, and then they say, no, we do not want to be tried here. So if you put out the opt-out clause, it's just going to be lawlessness everywhere, because where are you going to try people? They will run from one village to the other.
All right, thank you so much, Jose. We'll have to leave it there because we are out of time, but we do appreciate your comments. And the discussion is still going in, led by the Deputy President and, of course, the Minister of CoGTA, who is canvassing for some feedback regarding those suggestions from the National Coronavirus Council, Command Council. It's back to you for now.